Welcome aboard, everybody. My name is Doobyis. This is Fly in Formation. Today, I'm joined by, I want to say like two guys from the hometown, but I don't think K.Stone's actually from Lethbridge or this area. Are you from Saskatoon? Where are you from, K.Stone?
Well, I'm originally from Awash, Saskatchewan, and then I moved to Saskatoon when I was 15, so I'm from Saskatoon currently.
Oh, okay, word. So out in Saskatoon, but and Donny Sage, of course, joining as well. So welcome aboard, guys. I'm happy to have you here. I was just telling you beforehand, but I've been playing your guys' music for years now, paying attention as the drops come out and playing it on after the smoke is clear, and it's always dope, guys. You guys make some good shit. I like your ability to, you know, put in the reality raps and keep shit on a very kind of down to earth and actual, like, just reality based level. You guys aren't rapping about how much money you got and, you know, the fucking, because dude, I listen to 6 or 7 hours worth of indie music every week just trying to find stuff to play on after the smoke is clear, and like so much of it I'm just like maybe this dude's really living like that when I'm listening to their music, but like a lot of the time I kind of doubt it because they don't have that many streams. They don't have, like, you know, that type of support. It doesn't look like from online, but like you guys actually are rapping about stuff that makes sense to me on just like a, I don't know, on an MC level where you're talking about your actual lives. I did want to ask Donny, do you want to talk about like your last album from last year, from 2023? The what the fuck was that drop called? The fuck, I wrote it down just a second ago and now I'm blanking, guys. Responsibly On One. Is that project, or do you have new shit that we should be talking about?
We do have some. I do have some projects coming up, but I don't mind talking about that. Or
Yeah, sure. So yeah, let's just start with that then, man. That was a dope little project that you did on a bunch of beats from Alchemy the Linguist, right? Were they all Alchemy's beats?
yeah, they're all Alchemy's beats. It was a collaboration between me and him.
Yeah, right. So what did you guys set out to do with that then? Like, what was the kind of goal with that?
I think the goal was just to come up with an album, and everything else just kind of came afterwards. So the name came afterwards. The whole vibe of it came afterwards. We were fortunate enough to get some features on that. I think we got one from Young Stitch. We got two from K.Stone, and anybody else.
And Young Stitch is a big placement. Did you meet him when he came through town on the like Lions Eat Goats tour, or how'd that come through?
Well, I played at the show, and him and Junk both talked to me, and he was telling me, well, there's a like little after party that I stopped by, and I ran into not Junk, Young Stitch there, and he offered to give me like a discount on a feature.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's how that feature came.
So like, how long did you guys work on that entire project for? Like, was it something that you, because some people put a project together in like a week and just fucking knock something like that out, and then other guys chip away at it for years and it ends up being like, you know, the accumulated pile of all the songs?
Maybe I would say maybe a year.
Okay.
First started working together. Maybe about half a year actually. Yeah, I'd actually say half a year.
Word. And did you know Alchemy prior to that? Like,
yeah, he's actually married to my cousin, and that's kind of how we met.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's actually like family connects then. Word, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And you'd been working prior to that too, right? Like.
Yeah, I was. I took a 2-year break, and Alchemy is actually the one that kind of brought me back into music. Yeah, because I used to do a bunch of shows in Lethbridge, like probably all around town. I used to go by like City Boy Cliche or just Cliche.
Okay, I didn't know if this is your second alias or whatever. I didn't realize you had that. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of where I got all my performance experience.
Did you have music out like online? Like, can I go search that name and find your old shit or no?
Yeah, you could if you want, but
Don't do it.
don't do it, bro. I'm
Uh,
just kidding. But it was fun. It was like a growing experience. It was kind of me in my adolescent rap years, I'd
yeah.
say, but it wasn't anything like I would say that's as great as the stuff that I've been coming up with. Nothing like original either, just like off of YouTube beats and stuff.
Where
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense, man. A lot of guys, it takes a while to get to a level, um, where the product is actually like something that you're really proud of or whatever. I think a lot of MCs do that one.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been performing since I was 18, but then I took a break around 19 for, or yeah, 20, I think, for
okay,
about 2
where
years.
yeah. K.Stone, how about you? How long you been making music, man?
Um, I've been making music since 2021. 2021? Yeah, December 2021. So like 2, 3 years. I'm not even. I don't even know what year it is half the time.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
No, that puts it 2 or 3 years. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I calculate it, but it's I've been writing since like I was 14. Like when I
Okay.
was like I would never show anybody because I was just like it was like the most dog shit bars that I've ever fucking I wouldn't even want to hear. But like it was just over the years, but I never told anybody. But I started making music in
Word.
2020.
Okay. Um, so Donny, I know you have like a new single that I feel like just dropped like yesterday or whatever, didn't it? Or 2 days ago, maybe, or something. That The Way My Mind Works, I think it was called, something
Oh
along
yeah,
those lines.
yeah, that was with Blaze One. Yeah.
Yeah, word. So I wanted to ask you about that, man. Is that gonna be like from an upcoming project? Like, is this
Oh yeah, that's
the lead
that's
up
gonna
to a
be on,
project?
yeah, it's gonna be on me and Alchemy's next project.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Any, I don't know, plans for when that project's dropping or like idea anyways?
We haven't sat down and planned the whole thing out yet, but sometime either this summer or by the end of summer. Yeah.
Okay. Nice, man. Um and K.Stone, you and Alchemy just dropped the Falling Sky EP like within the last couple of weeks, right? Like that's brand new.
April.
April, was it? Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh well,
So
I was sleeping on it then for a while. I feel like I heard maybe singles from it or whatever, but I thought the entire project had just dropped. But I liked that one. That's a dope little project. Just like on the EP tip or whatever. Are you working on new stuff too? You got more projects on the way?
so that was the Falling Sky was basically a spacer between major projects. So I wanted because I dropped Crazy Dreams and then I wanted something in between. And me and Alchemy were already working for a while. And it
Right.
was like it was a really dope vibe because Alchemy's got those like beats that bring out emotion. And he's got such an ear for it. So when we made this EP, I wanted to be a spacer between which is our upcoming album between our label. It's a collaboration album for Siren City. And then my next solo project. And this album's actually coming out this summer,
Nice.
and it's we're moving into the rollout phase because we've been spending so much time on it. We've been grinding all winter to make this one happen because
Yeah.
we had the we had the vision.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
To go
yeah, we're in the trench.
yeah, to
We're in
go
the
live in the trenches for a little bit.
Yeah,
For real,
it
for
was
real.
Spent the winter in the trenches.
literally.
Is it more about like getting the money up to be able to properly roll out an album, or is it kind of putting plans in place to be able to roll out the album? Like,
We're sitting on well, we just wanted a really good body of work, and
Yeah, like between us
yeah,
to kind of to just like establish ourselves as Siren City.
yeah. So
nice,
it's also a collaboration album between ourselves and like adjacent artists from Lethbridge and Saskatoon,
beautiful.
and we wanted to put it on for them, but also just take it up a notch, like take it up because we've been making so much growth and so much progress in our ability, and we wanted to.
So the group
Sorry.
or the album is going to be called Siren City, and it's you two guys.
Siren City is our label, Siren City Entertainment.
Okay.
The artists that we're dropping under is Siren City, and then the album, should we just say the name?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's The Beautiful and Wicked.
Nice,
That's
man.
Yeah. About the date.
uh, Okay, because we're still planning things out, but we play it by ear.
Yeah, we're coming up soon, anyways. People should pay attention. Yeah. Um, is that going to be like a full length project, or how many tracks you guys got for that?
Like 10 for 10, like 10 dope fucking songs, like
Nice.
10 dope fucking songs.
Nice. And then, so you mentioned like having, a lot of adjacent artists on it. Do you feel like shouting out some of those artists, or?
But we got Danny G from Lethbridge.
Hey, nice.
But
That's the homie. Yep.
we got Pressure from Saskatoon. He's my really good homeboy. I started rapping around the time I met him. And then Elijah, my homeboy Elijah, he's from Saskatoon also, and he's been doing some crazy shit.
Nice.
And,
Also Kale.
yeah.
I don't know if you met him, Kale Fox.
The name sounds familiar, but I can't put a face to him. No.
He's from Indigidrip.
Okay, word.
Snailsworth. Yeah.
Nice. So, and who's been doing the beats for this new project then? Is it Alchemy, or
He's been finding the beats on YouTube.
Yeah.
branching out everywhere? Okay. Nice. So when you say finding beats on YouTube, we're not talking about stealing YouTube beats, right?
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay.
We got a grant to lease.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Music.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything's legit.
Yeah, of course. Even if it wasn't, we would say it was, right? But yeah, no, that sounds dope, man. Just lately, I've been talking to artists about like, how a lot of guys. Well, and Donny just mentioned it there too. Like that, your early stuff was on, the YouTube beats you just find and feel like rhyming over or whatever, and kind of you can get away with that mixtape style for so long, but if you really want to actually like stop fucking around and try to make some money off of the music, or like just do it proper one way or the other, yeah, it's better to be paying for the beats for sure. Is it producers who like from all over North America, just from wherever, or is it kind of more looking for producers who you guys know of from around the scenes?
We just find they're from wherever. Some of them from Russia. Some of them are from just across the world.
Dope,
We just we fuck with the sound. You know what I
looking
mean?
for the right sound. Yeah, for real. So on that EP that you just dropped, K.Stone, there, you guys have a track called Filthy Roads with both of you guys on it. I wanted to ask about like how that one came together specifically. Did you like who wrote first on that track?
Oh, it was me. I wrote the hook one night. I was just like chilling out in my little room.
It's like a swimming pool's flip, right? Like the Kendrick flip or whatever, right?
Yeah.
The flow on it. Yeah. Would you call Kendrick an influence, or is it just kind of that one track popped that way?
The track, like the hook.
Yeah.
Oh, I just came up with like I was just like I don't know what I was going through, but
I could hear the Kendrick influence. I could definitely.
I was just writing one night. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Like, I don't know if I got
No, that's all good. I mean, I just heard like you should listen to Kendrick's track "Swimming Pools" afterwards. I thought you were doing like a direct flip on that, like pull up, drank, headshot, drank, right? You do.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's yeah.
Yeah.
This guy, the way his fucking mind works, like he flips so much shit, and like I didn't hear it till after I wrote it, and I was like, bro, this guy's fucking nuts, because he just like his influence and his love for the art, and it's just always like it's embedded in how certain things that come together, and it just surprises the fuck out of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, that's the beautiful thing about creativity, that it just seems to like spring out of nowhere or whatever so much of the time, and can just influences from everywhere, and hip-hop too, right? Like you're allowed to take influences from everywhere and put them into hip-hop. That's what the whole thing was built on, right? Like with sampling and fucking quoting different artists beforehand and shit like that, right? Paying homage to the MCs before. When you guys are writing on tracks with multiple MCs on it, do you come at it from like a different angle than if you're writing a track for yourself?
Yeah. The way that things have been going lately is we'll get the beat from Alchemy. Like this is just our baseline thing. We'll get the beat from Alchemy. Someone will write to it first. We'll pass it on to the next artist, and then they'll add on to it, and then the third artist like will add to it. Yeah.
Okay, word. So it's been a lot of sending files around then for the collabo tracks,
Yeah.
more so than getting people in one spot.
Meet with each other as much as we can. Yeah.
Yeah, word. Um,
Sorry, some of those tracks that you'll hear on the upcoming project,
yeah,
where like I won't even have a verse on it. Like I'll just have a hook, and it's I made those certain tracks to like alley oop for the other artists, for them to really just go in,
yeah,
and especially like Elijah and pretty much most of the features, they all just went the fuck in, and like they went the fuck in, and like I just found the beat, created a vibe with the hook, and then gave it to them, and I was like, go crazy.
yeah.
God,
I mean,
really.
when another MC asks you to fill bars in, you got to come with the A game, right? Like that's a little bit of added pressure when there's other people who are involved in making that track or whatever to that level, right?
Likewise with Donny, he might do the same thing. He might make a hook, or he just starts it off, because like he'll jump on a track, he'll just start spitting. This guy is nuts. He locks the hell in, and then he like has the verse, and he's like, "You want that second half?" I'm like, "Let me get it.
Yeah.
Let me get it."
Yeah, that's what happened on a couple of the songs. I'd say, well, I think just one of them actually, maybe two.
Talking
Yeah.
Tombstone and Pride.
Yeah.
Those were wicked ones, and
Where
it's depends on the day really, because it's like we're
Yeah.
both in the same.
Yeah, or like say like I'm not in the mood to write that day that much, and he'll come up with the vibe, and then I'll just kind of like just holding on, you know,
And it's like
and
what?
just like yeah.
well, sometimes it's easier to catch a vibe when somebody's already laid something on a track, right? Like, because then you're not just thinking of like, well, what the fuck should I rap about on this? You can kind of flip some wordplay off a buddy's hook or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for real. So what are you guys doing out in Toronto? Like, it looks like you're sitting in a hotel room right now. What's going on in Toronto?
We got invited by the Indigenous Poets Society to come here for like a 4-day, 3-day conference. Is it a conference?
It's
It's kind of like
a culture immersion camp, and it's
Okay.
like where they've brought people from different territories too to come through, and we all kind of do workshops. We share with each other. We share our poetry. We just connect really. And it's kind of just celebrating artists, and
That's
it's
dope.
really
So are there a lot
cool.
of musicians out there? You getting to shake some hands with?
It's just poets.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's all good too.
yeah,
in
we
that
do
end.
spoken word
Yeah.
poetry as well.
Yeah, word. I mean, a lot of MCs do, right? It's a very similar genre, really. Like whether there's a beat playing or not, that's still rhymes and wordplay and stuff, right? Do you guys approach spoken word poetry differently than you approach writing lyrics? Would you say?
It's kind of just like um
Or am I right in saying it's the same game? Feels like the
uh
same game to me, anyway.
yeah, it's pretty much the same game, just without a beat. I feel like I'm able to express myself more because like a beat has like a pace and everything, but
Yeah,
with my work, if I'm just talking, I could, you know, kind of put like more emotion into what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah, for
I
real.
started writing actually to like poetry was how I got into rapping in high school. But I'd write to beats, like I'd write in bars. I never like I've seen poets how they do it. They kind of they can do run on like sentences almost, and
Yeah,
I learned from that. I've written that sometimes, but I've always actually written to beats and like used bars, and I've always just like what's the word? Um, applied it to like I just take away the beat, just go a cappella,
yeah,
and yeah.
yeah. I think a lot of spoken word, like, I mean, I guess maybe there's two schools of it where guys do use like that rhythmic delivery, whether there's a beat there or not. They're still gonna follow like the fuck was the word for it, like iambic pentameter or some shit like that. The fucking breakdown of how you're supposed to deliver with rhythm or whatever. But then on the other hand, like with free free flow poetry, you can also just get away with like standing on stage and saying stuff that doesn't rhyme, or it's like, you don't have to do it that way, right? Yeah. Um, what else did I want to ask you guys? So, well, I guess Donny, I did want to ask you about that new single of yours, man. How did you link with to get Blaze One on there? Was he an artist you were familiar with prior to that track, or?
Him perform a bunch of times here in Lethbridge, and I think it was about 2 years ago. Uh, I opened up for him. Uh, yeah, I opened up for him, and he that's when he first heard me, and then later, I think he did come down for another performance, and that time he or so sometime between that time he asked if I wanted a feature, and like I was like, how much? And he was just like, free, bro. And I was like,
Hey,
yeah, bro, like that's crazy. Yeah, 'cause I was like ready to pay for a feature. Like, so that's awesome. Like I love Blaze One. He's sick. Yeah.
that's beautiful, man. I love when artists work like that, just on the strength of respecting each other's work. Like, as much
Yeah.
as it is important as an artist to get paid for what we do or whatever. I also, I mean, personally, I've always been in the mindset that like, what am I gonna run out of words to say? Like, I'm happy to rap on anybody's shit. Just fucking, come knocking. Yeah, the bars aren't gonna. There's no end to it. You know what I mean? At the same time, of course, it's nice to make money, but like, yeah, I don't know. Do you guys ask for money for features? Does it depend on the artist, or?
Oh, I've like the features that I've done are have been people like me paying for features. Other than that, it's people who I've wanted to work with,
Yeah.
and that's obviously not gonna charge. Not
Yeah.
gonna charge that I want to work with.
Makes sense. Well, and I mean, I think a lot of the time, like you get a stronger song out of it if both people are coming into it like actually wanting to work together, rather than like if one guy's on the other side of the country mailing his verse over, and it's just going to be what it's going to be, no matter what the other guy comes with. Yeah, I hear some features out there like that where I'm just like, I wonder if Mercules even knew who he was gonna be rapping with when he wrote this verse. Like,
I'm definitely in like a growth stage, so I'm still trying to like the features that I do get. It's usually to like expand my fan base or from like different places. Yeah,
yeah, so like from a marketing perspective, like you're looking to kind of get introduced to a bunch of new listeners that way.
yeah, and just get noticed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're get the music out to as many people as possible, man. That's definitely a pretty smart strategy, I think. I see a lot of artists doing that, and like,
My feature with Blaze One, I did kind of just the purpose behind my verse was kind of just like introduction, and like it'd be like cool if they would go check out my other stuff as well.
yeah,
Because I feel like shout out like Alchemy and K.Stone, Siren City, and what you know. Yeah.
yeah, word. Um, I think that goes a long way, right? Like that's how I've always discovered new artists, is like finding guys featured on other people's tracks. I think that's pretty common with hip hop. The genre really lends itself to that, and it's always been my favorite shit to hear how different MCs will attack the same beat or whatever too. So you hear people doing features where it's like on a sound that they wouldn't necessarily normally kind of do themselves or whatever. Like fucking Biggie rapping with Bone Thugs or whatever, just to like use a huge example everybody's gonna know about, where you hear an MC start flipping a flow that like he wouldn't normally probably be doing on his own solo shit. I love that. Do you guys ever challenge yourself that way, like to step outside your comfort zone for
But
features?
working with K.Stone, like that's definitely been like something that I had to like uh get around. Yeah, like I'd say like Prey and Sully were definitely me stepping into a different type of area with like rhymes and stuff. Yeah.
And Sully's a gem. I don't normally play stuff multiple times on Atzik, but Sully I've played probably 3 or 4 times over the last whatever 2 years, however long it's been since that shit came out. But yeah, you guys both killed that. And Big Tones, he's dope as fuck too. He was on that with you. I was gonna ask, is Big Tones gonna be on the new project, on the Siren City one that you guys are working on?
Um,
Okay, weird. Yeah. He's one of the other dudes that I know from Saskatoon. I only know a couple of MCs out that way or whatever, but yeah, it was dope to hear you guys work with him on Sully. That track again, super real. Like uh, it's shit that's like so real that it like hurts to hear sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, um, and I guess I did want to ask you guys about like, do you ever think about like that keeping content that real and kind of, I don't know, saying stuff that people don't normally talk about in their songs, where they just kind of are rapping about how glamorous their life is or whatever. Um, do you feel like it's like, does that limit people's reach at all? It, can that go mainstream? Could that blow up bigger?
like the stuff that we rap about.
Yeah, well, a lot of the time, like, you know, on Sully, you guys have bars about like shit. I'd have to listen to it to know exactly, but there's definitely some bars about like, you know, addiction and like street life that like isn't pretty, right? Like that, yeah. They kind of,
It's like I said, I couldn't paint it pretty, so I'm just giving it raw. Like,
yeah. There you go.
like
I started off as like I got some trauma from a bottle of tequila worth like $20.
Yeah, but seriously, to be an MC talking about trauma,
Yeah, well, like
that's not normal. That's not there. There's not a lot of it out there, right? Like, yeah,
the reason why I do that is like I want to with that project I wanted to trauma dump as much as I could, and like I feel like I kind of want to like just to be an example to like my people, or you
yeah,
know, like talking about that stuff, and like a lot of that stuff was really hard to say like in that project. It was a big hill that I had to climb emotionally, but I feel like it was really important to like talk about like a lot of the stuff that I did talk about in there.
for real, man.
It was
Kudos for doing it. I think that's important that artists do, you know, talk about that stuff, because there's a lot of people going through it, man, and a lot of people lean on music when they're going through it, right? So,
like,
yeah,
for my people back home, like I kind of just like I want people to feel like they're not alone, because there is a lot of people who've like gone through the things that I've gone through, um, out on the Blood Reserve, and yeah, it's just like trying to be an example for them.
yeah, man. I always talk about how an MC is supposed to speak for their people, right? It's supposed to represent their community, supposed to talk about things that are affecting their community, right? The issues that actually affect their community, and yeah, a lot of guys don't. So yeah, props to both of y'all for doing that. I think beyond just like being dope too, it shows like a lot of authenticity. You know, yeah, it lets people know that like these are actual lyrics that are close to the heart or whatever. You can hear it in all your guys' music. So
and also, so it can show, it gives our people hope. Like, for them to feel like if we're like indigenous rap is like kind of its own space, and a lot of indigenous kids and like youth are looking for role models.
Yeah,
Like living in these broken homes, and we take it to that extent and that height, and push ourselves to that extent. I get to say again, but it shows them that they can do the same, and to rap so real about the things in our life, it like allows them to even feel more comfortable speaking their own truth.
yeah, I was just a kid like from the north side. I was a street person before, and in Lethbridge, right? Like growing up and coming from that, I did get inspired from like artists here in Lethbridge to even pursue rap, like Javi. Um, yeah, I'd say he's big inspiration.
Yeah, he's the shining example on the Lethbridge
Yeah,
scene
I
for
was
real.
like, when
Yeah,
I first heard him, I was like, this guy's from Lethbridge, and this was when I was just like a kid on the res, and like I was like I could do this too, like that was like a wonder in my head, and
yeah, yeah. When I talked to him, we kind of talked about how like important it is to keep it real and like really represent for the city that he's from or whatever. He talked about how like, he can tell different stories because he's from Lethbridge than somebody from the heart of Toronto can tell, right? Like you can approach telling that story from different angles, and I think that's super important, man. That's the beauty of hip hop, that we can all tell it from our own eyes, right? Let's see here. Here's just some random questions that are like a little bit just opinion based shit. Um, what does success look like for you guys? Like, what's the dream with the music?
um, this year I actually like started getting paid to do music.
Hey,
That's like a big goal for me. Like I've been doing this for years, and like this is the first year that I've started actually getting paid, and that's like a huge milestone. I've never got paid to do music. I was always paying to be on shows and
right.
just trying to get out there. And like now people are reaching out from like out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a big one, man. That's a big step for any artist to make, is to start getting checks from it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So to me, that would be success so far. Yeah.
What about you, K.Stone? What's success look like for you, man?
I feel like no, looking forward, like success, but like right now, I feel like both of us have touched people in like the proper way, and like touched people, and like us going to these shows and like to these poetry events and like performing our stuff and like letting loose and letting our souls out and like having people respond
Yeah.
and like really intake it and then even cry sometimes.
Yeah. That's like the biggest, I'd say.
Yeah.
If you can make somebody feel something from your art, then you've done your job as an artist. I always say that.
Yeah, and that's all. That's all. Like speaking for me, like that's all that we could ask for. And if the world ended tomorrow, like I'm straight. You know what I mean? And like
Beautiful.
a kid heard those words, and someone from back in my hometown, they heard those words, and they felt I could live one more day. I could keep going. I could do the same if I wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Success going forward would just to be like reach more people, but also self-sufficiency. I guess have the funds to really dig our heels in, and like because we make so much music by ourselves, like between both of us, we're constantly like ping ponging it, and
just random like projects, just random stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And like just to be able to get it all handled, like the capital side.
Yeah.
Would be like future goals of success.
Dude, yeah, not having to worry about how the bills are being paid, I think opens up so much artistic like possibility for creativity for artists. We're all trying to balance like, how do I fucking keep these bills paid but also put enough time and effort into the music that it's getting out there. And but then you got to go back to work and fucking do that thing over there that's like completely separate, and it just is fucking soul crushing or whatever, but it's like so necessary because you got to pay the bills somehow, right? But yeah, man, to be able to live off your music, I think that's a lot of people's dream out of this music shit, right? And then yeah, beyond that, like you said, touching people and actually making an impact and inspiring people or whatever. That's all huge. That's something that keeps a lot of people going, I think, making their music or whatever. Donny, I know you played out in Saskatoon. Was that a link up between the two of you guys? Like it was a couple weeks ago I saw you out in Saskatoon performing on social media or whatever, I think.
Yeah.
How'd you land that show, or where'd that come from?
I was to K.Stone.
Yeah.
That was with Sask Music. And also there was another one is the Indigenous Poets Society, the people who we came here to Toronto with. Yeah, so like meeting K.Stone, those opportunities came with that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, building actual bonds with different artists, it opens so many doors that way. Yeah, it's half the reason that I do these interviews is just to try to link up more artists. I mean, for myself selfishly too, but also hopefully other artists are watching these things, and figuring out like, oh, okay, so these are the guys who are dope in Saskatoon, you know, these are the guys who are dope in Winnipeg. Uh, because most artists you can kind of hit them in, you know, a message or whatever, send a message, and like if they see that you're also out there doing your thing, like it builds those bridges, right? Where, oh, okay, mutual respect from both sides, and then you never know what opportunities come out of it, right?
I'm definitely trying to get like established in Saskatoon as well with the music scene there.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
I'm like back and forth.
colorful.
What do you think about moving, Donny? What do you feel about? I always ask people like, how important is an artist's physical location?
Maybe to Calgary.
Okay.
But like, I love Lethbridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it's what it's what I do. You know, like the showcases that we run. It's for the people.
For
Yeah.
real. I wanted to ask you about that, the booking side too, Tony. How long have you guys been doing that? Like Aboriginal entertainment, right?
Yeah. How long we've been like doing
Yeah,
the
how long you
show?
guys been putting shows on? Yeah.
Uh, I think we're coming up on 2. I think we've passed 2 years, like the 2 year mark. The first one was in my living room actually.
House party
Yeah,
style. Nice, yeah.
yeah, it was crazy, and like just a bunch of people came from I don't know where, and they all put up their USBs, and yeah, it was crazy. And like some of those people still work with us today. Yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, it's super important for any scene to have somebody who's doing that and putting on local shows like that.
Yeah, and,
Because otherwise, people just get into this mode where it's like, well, the only shows I can play are when fucking Snoop Dogg comes through town, so I better pay to open up for him or whatever. Which is like, okay, that's you can do that. That's a way to do it. But like, I've always been a big supporter of like, no, just get 5 locals and put on a show. Just find a pub
yeah,
and put on the show. You know?
yeah. The other stuff that kind of goes with that is we prioritize uh first time performers, and like we have like how the shows have usually gone is um we'll have most of the experienced performers mixed with the like people who have never performed before.
Right.
um, we also invite like artists from like our adventures to like shows that we've gone to come down as invited artists. And even the vendors, we have vendors and like artists that like paint and stuff to come and like I don't know, I would consider them more like networking events and like like for people to learn from, because going on to bigger shows into the future, like there's definitely things that you would have to do like application processes and just like stuff like that, like sound check times. Like we try to be as professional as we can
Yeah.
and teach that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. And again, like super important that people do get out onto some stage someplace before, you know, they walk out opening for Snoop Dogg and it's their first time on stage and they're rapping at their shoes or whatever, right?
Crazy as fuck. That'd
Yeah.
be crazy as fuck. You imagine that you never ever performed before and you're coming out like got a fucking.
Like I just dropped like 1,500 open up for Snoop Dogg.
I mean, I've seen people do it, man. I mean, not with Snoop specifically. I'm just using a random name, really. But like, you know, the artists that you see and they come through and play Lethbridge, and it's like this is a small little venue for this dude to be playing, but there's still a bunch of guys opening for him, and yeah, I mean, how much stage presence some of the people have. And I'm not necessarily talking, I haven't been out to many shows in Lethbridge to see what the openers here are honestly like, so I'm really not trying to shit on anybody local. But in Edmonton, I've definitely seen people open for big artists who if I'm being honest, have no fucking business doing that. You know what I mean? They probably should have practiced a little bit more someplace. But yeah, it is what it is.
At least one
rap in front of their mom.
Yeah, right. The only thing they've performed in front of is their mirror. Yeah.
Got it. Had it going.
Shit. So, where have you guys been recording at? Do you have home studio setups or?
He has a home studio setup. I've been traveling to get anything recorded. Like I do have like a little desk setup, but it's kind of just for like my demos. Like
Okay.
sit down, send off.
So just so that you can practice something up before you actually go into a real studio setup to.
And like like send it off and say like, yo, is this good? Like this is what I came up with. Like should we roll with this or see if it's good enough? You know,
Yeah.
for everyone to feel comfortable.
Yeah, that makes sense. How about like for the actual recording process? Are you guys the type of MCs who, and I want answers from both of you on this one. Do you punch in or do you do one takes? And there's no judgment from me on this one. I feel like there are good artists who do both those styles, but talking all these different MCs, talking all these MCs, I hear guys who do it both ways, right? And yeah, there's MCs who I respect who do it both ways, but do you guys prefer to be able to do a one take through your entire verse for a recording, or are you punching in to try to look for perfection?
Do it in one take. A lot of my stuff was one take, like Reflections was one take.
Everything
Let's
else,
see.
literally everything else, literally everything else.
Yeah.
Say Letter to My Enemy on our first project, me and Alchemy's first project, that was one take, like 64 bars, I'd say.
Yeah.
Clout was one fucking take.
Clout was one take.
I watched this guy do it, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, and is that because it's well practiced up before you get into studio, Donny, or like are you writing stuff and then able to jump in same day and do a one take like that?
Sometimes, like I'd say, pray for me, or no, not pray for me. I don't know. So sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll write and hop right in, but it's kind of like you could tell that I'm like reading off my phone sometimes.
Yeah.
But well, I could tell personally, you know. Like,
Probably the listener can't, but no, I hear you. As the artist, you're like, no, this doesn't sound quite as smooth as it should be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely like doing one takes.
What about you, K.Stone? You one take over as well?
Recently, like when I first started, I started on Pro Tools. Well, I didn't start on Pro Tools, but when I first started with Pro Tools, I found out about the punching shit. So a lot of my earlier stuff is like me figuring it out, punching in, because I would write so fucking like dense verse, like long fucking run on verse. So like at certain points I'd run out of breath, I'd go back and I'd punch in, like put the actual vocal in. But lately, as my writing improved, I do it one take, but then I punch in for like hooks.
Okay.
Like if
yeah, of course, yeah.
I'll punch in for hooks just to layer, because I've been playing with layers a lot lately. So I'll do different stuff like that. Or sometimes I'll freestyle kind of thing.
So do you guys have somebody you go to typically for your like mixing and mastering, or who's been doing the mixing and mastering? I know like just before we actually went on screen here, you guys were listening to, you know, a reference track that some engineer somewhere had sent over to you to approve or not.
Yeah, me personally, Alchemy would take care of like the production side for that first album that we did, Responsibly On One. He did the mixing and mastering for that, and I just rapped and kind of went through it.
Yeah, right. I heard you say, like, even before we started up, you were saying that like it's on K.Stone whether it sounds good or not, because you were like, I don't know if this even I don't know, it sounds good to me or something along those lines. And honestly, that's the way I often feel about mixes. It's like my engineer will be like, no, I need to change this around or fucking bump this level, and I'm like, okay, do it again if you want to, man. Sounds good. Yeah.
So like,
Oh my God.
I'm not very good at critiquing stuff. Yeah, I think it's all good.
The mixing side he needs. He's great at critiquing stuff.
The actual bars, yeah.
He doesn't have the ear for like the mix. He doesn't notice half the time.
Yeah. No, I'm in that same boat, man, completely. I care about the bars. Like, even for what I'm playing on AtSick, I don't give a fuck what the mix sounds like. Like, honestly, I'll play something that sounds like tinnier than it should if the bars are fucking dope on it. It's like, I don't know, I treat After the Smoke is Clear like a mixtape or some shit, where it's like the sound quality may vary, you know, what's not going to vary is like how dope all the artists fucking are, you know.
The mix on my last project with Blaze One, Matthew Redderberg from CKXU actually did the mixing on that, and I wasn't really feeling the greatest about the verse that I did, but the mixing that he did, I was like, this is good. Like, made me feel more comfortable with the song. He did a good job with that. Yeah.
And my engineer that I go to all the time, and he's mixing this whole project coming up, is Too Late. Prod Too Late. The guy is a fucking magician, and I shout him out, like, because engineers deserve their goddamn flowers.
Hell yeah.
And Too Late has come out for me, like, has come through for me so many fucking times, and he's always willing to hear you. He's always willing to, and he's honest. He's so fucking honest.
That goes a long ways. As far as, like, will he tell you if he doesn't like your bars? How honest we talking about?
He'll be like I'll ask him, because we have the relationship that we do. I'll be like, to be honest, like, he'll send the mix back, and he'll be like, to be honest, this part, like, this frequency sounds like ass, and he'll I'm very critical of myself, so, like, unless I'm like super sure, I won't even send it to him. Like, unless I love a song and know it's fucking crazy, played it for fucking Donny, played it for like all the homies, and I know it's crazy, I'll send it to him then, and I'll go through him. But then he'll be like, but he's very honest, like, oh, this drum is ass, or like this part is ass. Like we'll both like crack it back. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, man. I mean, sometimes you got to have a relationship with an engineer like that, because if it's somebody who you're not used to working with, somebody you don't know personally, a lot of the time I feel like the bar is a little bit lower because they're afraid to tell you, yo, change this part, and you're afraid to tell them, like, yo, you should mix this again or whatever, right? So
that's crazy. Like just not having that relationship is so fucking nuts, because if, like, what if, like, a certain part he fucked your vocal up?
Yeah.
Or like there's some shit he did wrong with the high, like, whatever the fuck, and you're just too scared to be like, yo, this part, like, yo, like, or there's too much reverb, like, yo, there's too much, you didn't say that, now it sounds like you're in fucking, like,
yeah, and
church.
Then you end up hating your fucking music 2 weeks after you've released it or whatever over some dumb issue like that. Yeah, it happens to guys, man. It's fucking happened to me in the past, you know. That's real. But I think a lot of the time, like, if you're paying, you know, an engineer, it feels like, oh, okay, well, he's done it. So, like, I don't want to fucking hassle him and, like, ask him to do more and more labor for the price he's already given me or whatever, you know? So, yeah, it's tricky sometimes. It's definitely better when you have a personal relationship with probably everybody involved in the music, whether it's other MCs or the producer or the engineer or whoever, right? When you guys are working, do you, like, when you're writing specifically, I guess, this question, do you prefer to be around the producer, or would you rather kind of be, like, in isolation someplace with some headphones on writing your bars?
Well, with Alchemy, he usually just sends me the beat, and I like to be alone when I write. Yeah, and the Alchemy will, like, he wouldn't straight up tell me that it's ass, but he would definitely be like, like, show signs that we should go a different direction.
give you the look if he's not feeling it.
Yeah. Or we just won't, like, post the song. Yeah, we're both gotta get quiet, guys.
Yeah, for real. What does the actual writing process look like? Do you tend to write a verse all at once if you're sitting down to write a verse, like, or you guys the type, say, lyricists who are walking around with a phone adding a bar here and there throughout the course of a day or whatever, right?
If it can work out like that. It kind of depends on how I'm feeling on the inside that day. Like I need like isolation if I want to really project myself like without feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Cause I like to like rap it out loud while I'm making it. Yeah, and not feel bad because like roommates or just people. Yeah, I feel more comfortable alone riding. I usually go for walks. I go for walks and write it, like something about like changing scenery and stuff. Uh, it helps.
Yeah, I feel that, man. How about you, K.Stone? How do you write?
I write. I'm in the car, like most of the time. Most of my stuff is like it starts out as freestyle. I got two phones. One I use for recording, and one I use for like playing random beats I find,
Okay.
so that I could just freestyle and like freely. And like he said, like I need the space to be loud. So like a lot of the recording will sound like shit if you like pulled up these demos and you're just like playing this. It'll just be saying some random bullshit or like even not even saying words. I'm just doing vowels or like melodies. Just
Mumbling to try to figure out the flow or whatever. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then it all like ball gets rolling from there, and then I just go in.
Yeah. I remember like you saying that you like to write in the car. Reminds me of like a homie of mine who I remember I told him one time that I write best like as I'm driving, and he was like, dude, that's fucking terrifying. How are you writing bars as you're driving? You should pay attention to the road. You know.
We drive. Sometimes we even do it too. We drive and I just freestyle because it's the changing scenery.
Yeah.
It, I'll
Yeah.
say.
For real, man. There's something about being in a car watching shit go by that yeah, puts your mind in the right place, or at least does for me. Yeah.
Absolutely. How did you do you like have a pad with you or do you like write on your phone?
No, I'd be writing on my phone most of the time. You know, the
Yeah.
whole like text and drive thing. Dude, I'm old enough to like
No, no,
it wasn't illegal for me to text and drive when I was first able to fucking text and drive. Like before they put those laws in place, it was like something I never even fucking worried about doing or whatever. And now like you pull out your phone with the wrong person in the car and they have a panic attack.
yeah.
You know, but I mean, whatever. Don't let me recommend to anybody to text and drive, but yeah, don't do that. That's bad for people. How about this? How long should a song be? You guys ever think about like, oh fuck, this song is 4 minutes now. It should have only been 2.5.
I like sweet and simple, short and sweet.
Yeah.
But if like stuff does come where I do have like 232s or maybe like a 32 and a 16, then like I'll keep it at that.
Yeah.
But for like 4 minutes, I'd say is like it would be nice to have a song where it can you can chill out to it. You know, like you could just like go for a drive and just like have your phone on shuffle and like go for a drive and have like one of those songs that you can just like listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mood
Yeah.
music. Yeah.
Like for a long time. Yeah.
For real. What about you, K-Stone? How do you feel about song length? Because there's all this talk online about how like, oh, everybody only makes 2 minute long songs these days or whatever. But I don't feel like that's necessarily you guys, from what I can remember of your catalog.
Depends on like the beat, I'd say. Like some some production is very like grand and like sometimes it requires you to like let it play a little bit. Like song length, this is the beat. We got a song called Shot for Me and it's very spacey and it's very like float and it's very like chill and very vibe. But it's like the song's like probably 3 minutes, probably three longer, who knows?
Yeah.
But it was just on the vibe because you got space for the hooks and sometimes you let the beat play out. And it's just how it feels, you know? Like you can't like going into some shit. Sorry, going into some shit, you just like I'm gonna make this shit. It's gonna stop right here at this 2 minute, or it's gonna stop at 1 minute 30 seconds, 37 seconds. And then
Sometimes I make a beat like shorter if I feel like the message is across and if it's just like a good little vibe or like if it's longer. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to match the vibe more so than like I don't know, because people talk about like, oh, attention spans are so short that if you make the song longer than whatever time, 2 minutes or whatever, then you're going to start losing people. Or I've heard people talk about how even like, you know, to get more streams on Spotify, if somebody's going to listen to your music for 10 minutes, you can get 5 fucking streams out of Spotify if each of your songs is 2 minutes long. But if each of your songs is 5 minutes long, you only get 2 streams out of Spotify, right? So there's all that type of fucking marketing nonsense too. That
It's like the content to it. Like the song with Danny G, it's 2 hooks and a verse. And it's but it's like from the moment you play it to the moment it ends is it's dope. You know what I mean? And it's like I could have laid the second verse because there was enough beat for me to do that. But I just felt he said like exactly what it required. Like this beat, it's an interlude, but it's like it's so fucking dope. They're like extending it just didn't make sense.
when you guys worked with Danny G, I've done a little bit of recording for Danny G in the past. Nothing that actually hit the light of day, but we did a couple sessions or whatever. And like, dude is definitely on this like freestyle tip, like the fucking, you know, Juice World and X vibes that like you can tell he just wants to jump in a booth and freestyle and make the most of it that way. I don't get the impression that your guys' bars could possibly be freestyled. You guys must be putting pen to paper or, you know, writing digitally or whatever. Yeah. When you guys when you worked with him, was he freestyling or
This is definitely it's a different side to Danny G. Like he wrote and he killed it. He fucking killed it.
So yeah, I look forward to hearing that, man. He's definitely a talented guy. I think like he has a new project out and shit that's got some jams on there. But yeah, it's dope to see him getting out and working with guys like you. Let's see. How about like promotional strategy? Do you guys think like Donny, you kind of mentioned like, you know, working with other artists as part of that promotional strategy. What else goes into kind of trying to get your music out to more people? Like paid ads or anything? You guys do that shit?
I haven't yet. I haven't jumped into that pool yet, but definitely wanting to in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
I mean, doing local shows and shit is definitely a way to get in front of new audiences and get new listeners, right?
Okay. Yeah. So I think one thing that me and Alchemy use is like just to have like some sort of something under our belt when it comes to like our name is we'll get offers to open up for like bigger artists like how we did with Doobyis, Afroman, and Tony Yayo.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Those are fill-ins for Snoop Dogg and what I was talking about earlier. Yeah.
It's like it's like when I say that I've opened up for these people, then people are like kind of like, oh, word, like so you're artists, and yeah, it kind of helps and
legitimizes it a little bit for
yeah, it definitely helps. Yeah, like just shows in other places, like like when we get invited out to shows in other places. Like last year, I got invited out to Edmonton to do this 50 years of hip hop. Anniversary show.
Yeah, my homie DJ Dice DJ'd that event. He's the DJ for Atzik every week.
Yeah, Emil Starlight invited us. We met a lot of people at that show, and I'm actually going to be up in Edmonton in August, doing some work up there.
Like more shows or recording, you mean?
Oh, I got accepted to do this like residency, like mentorship with TD Music. It's for like 2 weeks, and I'm just trying to look for opportunity wherever I can get it. So,
nice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be staying at the university there for 2 weeks.
Sick. So like mentoring like youth and other musicians.
I'm getting mentored. Yeah, I'm
okay. Okay, nice. Yeah, that makes sense too.
Like, already in the industry and stuff. So
Yeah, well, and even being like out where you guys are right now in Toronto, just the more hands you're shaking, the more people you're actually meeting in person or whatever. That all, I mean, it doesn't feel like marketing necessarily while you're doing it, but it counts as marketing, and the networking can take you places that you weren't necessarily expecting or whatever.
yeah.
How about this? Is music a job or a hobby at this point?
Both. Nope. Lately, it's been like I don't even know. It doesn't feel like a job.
Doesn't feel like a job.
It doesn't feel like
Yeah,
a job.
I just love doing music. Like
Yeah.
without, I wouldn't even have like a personality. Yeah, I wouldn't even be like anybody. I don't think.
When you take it to a
This is all I have.
no, ditto. Like when you take it to a certain plateau, it turns into a job. Like
Yeah.
when you're like in this event, like where we're down here and where it's paid for, like everything's paid for, and we're 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 getting paid to be here. Those are the parts of it that it turns into a job, where music takes us. Music can be a hobby, I guess. It's like for if you don't want to like jump both feet in.
Right.
I mean, makes sense.
Well, I think a
Like,
lot of people, it's a hobby until it turns into a job, right? It's something we all love doing, so we do it with the hopes that eventually it turns into a job or whatever, right? Yeah.
But turning into a job really takes being all in, like chips down, and like really digging your heels so that because it takes a lot to take it to that height and take it to that extent, because you're gonna have to give a lot of yourself and a lot of your time and a lot of sacrifice and a lot of like terrible songs that you make. It's gonna be
Got a lot of those.
yeah, I got a lot of those, and it's like just it takes a lot, and for it to become a job, it takes those things.
Yeah.
How's that?
For real, man. How about this? Do you think that the era of major labels is done? Would either of you guys ever consider, like, as things continue to level up and say a major label comes knocking, would you entertain that idea? Or is this indie era at this point?
I don't know. Maybe if it's something big like Sony.
Yeah.
Yeah, but really just trying to create something for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if it depends on the type of deal. Like I haven't researched enough into that, but I wouldn't want to like give up independence because
Yeah.
we're both like
I've heard stories of people who've given up big opportunities just because they've wanted to do their like not be known for just joining somebody's label.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of the time, like, I mean, I see a lot of stories online, anyways, about people signing into deals and how a lot of the time it's just like a loan. Like they're giving you a bunch of money to go make the album with or whatever, but then like all the money that the album makes ends up going back to them and all this shit. And it always just kind of makes me think like, but we've got the internet now, guys. Like if you develop a fan base, you don't really need that label pushing you. Like of course they can push you to a bigger audience, I guess, but yeah, it's kind of a toss up. So this is one where there's no real right answer, but yeah.
watch a lot of like Nipsey interviews and like a lot of Russ interviews.
Yeah.
I take a game from those like independent artists that really gave it up and really like dug their heels into what they were doing. And like we're both students, like me and Donny, and we both like learn from the best. We are students of the game, like forever.
Yeah, totally. Well, and Nipsey and Russ and guys like Tech N9ne or whatever, those are some of the best examples you can point to for guys who have done that independent thing and just have no real interest in signing to some deal that's going to tell them they need to do this and that, and they don't own their image anymore. And like, yeah, the majors, their deals come with a lot of different fucking strings attached to them or whatever, where it's like gets you into a few more years, but yeah, awesome.
was the one that kind of pointed me towards like learning these skills myself and like leaning towards like using the ads to kind of push our shit
Yeah,
to because he was saying like everything that the label does you can do with a phone call. Like you can make the call yourself, and that's pretty much like you did their job. You know what I mean?
pretty much. Yeah. And it used to be where they would help artists, like they would swoop in and find people who they thought were talented and help develop them or whatever, right? And like that whole side of it is kind of gone. They don't even have like A&Rs for the labels looking for talent anymore. They just fucking swoop in when somebody's blown up to a level on social media where they've got millions of followers and everything they drop gets a million fucking likes or whatever. Like then they swoop in and they're like, hey, would you like this extra little bit of money or whatever? Like it's questionable, man. I personally, I feel like the age of the major labels should be dying at this point. Like, why are we letting billionaires be the middleman all the time? But yeah, toss up. This is another one there's no right answer for, guys. I want both of you to answer this too. But would you rather make one $20 CD sale or get 30,000 streams?
Oh, okay, I have to think about that. Okay,
Right?
so CD, maybe one person will listen to it. Promotional wise, 30,000 views, I'd say. But if I'm trying to like connect with my fan base, I'll do a CD. I'll
Yeah.
give out CD. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the one CD sale is like, that's a fan who you know actually will support you with their wallet sometimes, right? Whereas compared to 30,000 streams, how many of them ever actually pull their money out to support you, you know?
Yeah,
It's a lot of opportunity for people to do that, but yeah,
I would do the 30,000 because it's a lot of eyes on you,
yeah,
and it's like it's numbers on the board. Like when people look, they'll be like, oh shit, 30,000 could get you like a bigger show,
yeah,
bigger opportunity, bag kind of thing. Excuse me.
yeah, that makes sense. A lot of promoters look at that number for real to see how popping an artist is before they'll book them. Um, all right, guys. So there's a section I ask, how important is this or that? You can be as long winded or as quick with these answers as you want to. Uh, and these are all ones where there's no right answer to. But how important is a good stage show in hip hop?
stage show,
Like performance, you know, like how important is it that you're good at performing your shit on stage?
I'd say it's really important. Yeah. Yeah. Being able to remember your words for the whole set, it's good. Depends on the song, but backing tracks, um, like like for something like "Shot for Me," I would put a backing track. But for let's say something like "Letter to My Enemy" or "Clout," I would do just kind of just like spitting, you know.
What would you say the difference is, like when you're trying to have kind of a more raw sound compared to
Yeah.
like a more polished up sound? Or
Um. Well, like sometimes there's like a shot for me is like a really vibey song, so like, I would need those vibes kind of in there to kind of like complement the whole performance.
right?
Like it definitely depends on the song, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about you,
The
K.Stone?
performance is important because it shows the audience or the people who are attending how much you actually believe your own shit, how much you actually believe what you're saying, or how much of it is actually your life. Like with me and Donny when we perform, you it's almost electrifying. Not to like spin my own fucking doorknob or nothing, but like because it's our lives, right? And like all of it comes from us, and it just it could impact people way more than even just listening to the song could.
Yeah,
I've been to shows where people weren't rapping about their lives, and they were like mice almost. They're like quiet as almost like their presence was like mice because it was you could tell it wasn't them and it wasn't anything they'd known. So it diminished from the actual song or
yeah,
diminished the actual song. So
real. Don't get on stage and look scared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Um, how important is making music videos in 2024?
Mandatory. Mandatory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely important.
Okay.
Mandatory.
So for everything you drop, or a couple for every album, or like, what's the plan look like?
For album, that's kind of what we're going with right now.
Every single that you put out, you should have a music video for it. To like a lot of the visuals have to go with your sound also, because it's not just like it's not like the '90s. Like you're not like jumping on it like MTV and like, oh shit, a music video is playing. Now
Yeah.
it's like on your phones, and if you just have a fucking cover like being promoted and it's just the cover and it's your song playing, nobody's gonna fucking listen.
Yeah.
And that's like the whole other side of music is the visual, and that's what
Production,
literally,
the production side.
yeah, and it's vital. Sorry.
I'd say it's important.
No, that's all good. Do you guys enjoy being like part of that visual process, like deciding what the visual is going to look like and shit, or are you more hands off and get some producer to fucking handle that end?
This guy is a fucking genius, I have to say. Like we've got a song coming out and it's gonna be in the rollout. It's called Side. And Donny has come up with like the craziest fucking shots of just like telling a crazy story. And
Yeah.
we take it all in our own hands, but especially just to represent what the hell.
It's fun to get creative, I'd say.
Yeah.
And it kind of definitely shows who you are, or what you're capable of.
Would you stay behind the camera if you had $1 million?
Like
Permanently?
Well, you know what I mean. Like, would you continue being involved in the visual side of things like that because you enjoy doing that artistically? Uh, if you just had like, if money wasn't an issue at all, and you could just be paying people to fucking bring in a camera crew and have some guy fucking direct and do all the shots himself or whatever, like, you actually enjoy the artistry of it?
Depends on the director, actually.
yeah, if I trust the person, like with the vision,
Yeah.
then definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a director I'm a real big fan of lately because his name is Mitch Ritter, and he's bigger. He's a bigger director, but his visuals and his use of like vintage almost like it's I love weird ass shots, if that makes sense. Like I love weird ass shots from weird ass angles. I also love how angles and camera work tell a story, and this guy is fucking nuts. I like the
Yeah.
Dave Freeze and the people that do like the TDE work. Like if we had access to that shit, of course, like 100%, because they're fucking insane.
Yeah,
But Mitch, one of those people that's like fucking crazy. Also,
for real. How about how important is getting grants for Canadian artists?
I feel like that's like almost like getting a deal, like a
Except they don't ask for the money back with a grant.
yeah, like, I'd say it's like the Canadian version of getting signed.
Yeah.
it's definitely vital. Lately,
it definitely helps.
Lately, we've really been going in for the Siren City thing. Like we really want our Siren City thing to embody our values.
Yeah, that's how we actually got the funding to do our album. Let's
Nice.
do a grant.
Dope. Yeah. Yeah, dope. I mean, I think like a lot of Canadian, the thing is our market up here is so small that without that, there's no money to be made. There's very little money to be made. You can do shows, you can sell some merch, but like as far as paying the bill every fucking month off of music in Canada, that's as far as I can tell, right next to impossible if you're not getting grants. The people who manage to do it are always getting grants. So yeah.
So leverage. Everybody should leverage, and you can take your shit to the next level just by utilizing that.
Yeah. How important is working with a producer to develop a sound, like a signature sound?
Well, for Responsibly On One, I'd say it was really important. Um, working with the Alchemy. Well, working with Alchemy, we actually experimented some songs. Like he made some beats that he never made before. I going into like meeting up with K.Stone and the projects that we did on there. It definitely was important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, and I mean, when I think of your sound, it's hand in hand with Alchemy's, right? Like, at least for now, it'll be cool to hear what you sound like over top of whatever these beats that you guys have chose for the next project. Um, and is it far from that sound already, or like?
And it kind of like goes back to like what I used to sound like, but more like an evolved version of myself. Um, yeah, I'd say the stuff that I did with Alchemy was more raw, like having to come up with everything, like the flow and just all that.
It was like the ultimate test, like where
Yeah,
creativity.
it was all kind of it was all because the beats there would be kind of there would be like really raw beats and you would have to like paint it with like everything that you got. um these next ones are kind of more laid back and kind of they're very different, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Looking forward to hearing it, man.
Like we let the actual beat speak, and sorry, the alchemy is the actual reason I started like changing like the way I wrote and like made music. I used to always make music with the like a square, almost like an idea in mind. I'd always try to fit everything inside this fucking square. And Alchemy told me one day, because I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do for Falling Sky. I was like, I don't know what I want to say. I don't know what the hell the story is. I don't know how to immerse myself. And then he just said, just make good music. And I looked at him and I was like, you fucking genius. Like, I was like, you fucking genius. And that's how those songs came about, because I feel like a lot of those songs are just very far in terms of sound and vibe, like from November Rain to Filthy Roads to like How Can I Say? And it was just Alchemy's advice where he's like, just make good music. And that's something I've implemented. And
Nice.
we both, and he's taught us that. And he's very profound in that way.
Yeah. That's dope, man. It's good when people can link with a producer who actually can push that way. And kind of like I was saying with an engineer or whatever, the better the relationship that you actually have personally, the more you'll push each other, right? And it's probably vice versa back at Alchemy the same way, I would imagine, right? That you guys probably push him, well, like Donny just said, to make beats that he normally wouldn't have made or whatever, right? So yeah, definitely can be good to develop that way.
Yeah, he used to live with me. We used to live together.
Okay.
When we made Responsibly On one. Yeah.
So
So we're around each other's space a lot. Yeah, it definitely did help.
yeah, for real. How important is opening for big name rappers when they come through town? We kind of touched on this, but let me just ask it more
Um,
succinctly.
uh, I'd say it's important to when you're in your stages of like development and like trying to get heard. Um, like when you're trying to get out there, we're trying to get stuff under your belt. I'd say it's really important. But lately nowadays, we've been kind of like turning down a couple opportunities just because like we've done them before, like kind of like been there, done that, like trying to move on to bigger things. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's definitely a crucial stage in your development as an artist, I'd say.
Right.
Like definitely go there and yeah, just
When it's early, it's like take notes, like take a lot of notes from those performances when you're just developing. And like later on, like he said, we've turned down certain things
Yeah.
because we.
Well, nobody likes the whole pay to play thing, right? Like when it's like you got to sell this many tickets or you owe me $500 or whatever. Uh, it can get a little bit questionable whether you want to be taking those gigs or not. But yeah,
Yeah, if one does come by that we've never done before and like we think is worth it, then we'll definitely like go with it. Yeah,
yeah,
just to have
yeah. Well, and I mean, getting on that bigger stage in front of people, there's definitely the benefit of it for sure, right? Like just getting out there in front of all the people in Lethbridge who know D12 or whatever, like can go a long ways compared to trying to just bring people out to a local show or whatever. It's like a whole different ballpark,
definitely
really.
fun too. Like if you can definitely sell the tickets, that's sometimes it's just fun. You know, it's just fun to go out and be like almost an ambassador for your city
Yeah,
on a stage. Yeah.
Mm.
for real.
Sometimes
Uh,
there's those shows that are like there's like certain I've noticed lately. I haven't spoken about it, but it was there's a difference between a show that's like it's a party almost. There's a show that people are partying and there's music, and then there's a difference between a show that there's music and people are there. You know what I mean? Are there to hear the music. There's artful shows and then there's party shows where there's different audiences and there's different energy.
yeah,
And a lot of those party ones is like lacks, I'm not gonna say every one of them, but a lot of them lack content. Whereas it's like we're gonna turn up, we're gonna say like we doing whatever we do. And then there's like the showcases with the ones in Lethbridge where everyone's coming to and they're showcasing their art.
yeah.
And
They're
it's
there for the art. Yeah, I've actually talked about that a little bit recently. The like, sometimes I feel like people just go out to shows because it's the weekend and they're going out someplace to, party one way or the other. And if you can bring those people in, that's good. But you're gonna have a tougher time converting them into actual like fans and listeners, right? Because they're just kind of in the spot because it's the place to be in town that night on a Friday or whatever, more so than because they're there to fuck with the music, yeah, yeah, I would agree. So we're already over an hour, guys. I appreciate your time here. We can wrap this thing up, but before I let you go, because I'm sure you got plenty of other shit to be doing in Toronto while you're out there. I don't want to take up your entire day here talking to me. Uh, but can I get you to describe the local scene, the local hip hop scene? Uh, yeah, for you, Donny, I'm gonna ask Lethbridge and then Saskatoon from K.Stone. Yeah,
Okay, sweet. Local hip hop scene. Uh, it's it's growing and it's amazing. Like I've witnessed like people like Does It like
shout out does
yeah, to get more out there. Javi is just amazing.
yeah,
Like I always looked up to Javi. Yeah.
What's it feel like the scene?
Oh, like what it feels like. It feels really good. Like I love going to my shows, like the ones that we host, like the showcases, and seeing the rappers that do show up. Like Danny G, just like people out of nowhere, like so different, like so diverse, diverse sounds, I'd say.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's beautiful. Like I see OGs every now and then. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I've only been to one of those showcases that you guys do, but it seemed like a lot of love and um, yeah, people from different corners of the scene or whatever coming out to just check it out
yeah,
and support each other or whatever, right?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I look forward to seeing everybody in the future with our upcoming shows.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
man. What about Saskatoon?
Saskatoon, the music scene looks like a lot of folk, like a lot of in terms of rap, like there's the odd gems, and they're fucking dope. There's Mike Smith. Mike Smith is fucking crazy. He's a producer and a rapper, and it's like, but a lot of the scene is like country, almost country pop, like singers, and they're really dope. Like Remedy Music label, they're doing what they do. But in terms of rap, like you kind of gotta find them,
Yeah.
like the talent, like hiding behind the curtain. Like my homeboy Pressure, he doesn't have anything released right now, but he could dust me on, you know what I mean? Like he could really dust me, and he's so fucking dope. And Elijah, and he's on SoundCloud. And but the music scene is, it feels, compared to Lethbridge, to be honest, it feels like kind of cold, like dense, little bit denser, like a little bit colder than like how welcoming Lethbridge is.
Okay.
Like the first time I performed there, it was with Pressure, and I remember the ride back. Pressure was asleep, and we were just like tripping. He was exhausted, I was exhausted, but I was just like, bro, that was crazy. Like everybody, there could be 10 people, only like 10, 5 people performing in front of you, and they're gonna show you the same love that they would have with a fucking room full of 100. And it was just so felt. And sometimes in Sask, it's hard to get people to move.
Okay.
But me and Pressure were laughing back and forth. He woke up out of sleep. He's like, oh shit, oh shit. I'm like, what? He's like, that was crazy. He's like, so many people showed up, and he fell back asleep, kind of shit. But it was true, because we've never been shown that type of response, and the love was so there. It was so apparent.
Okay. Yeah, nice. I mean, Saskatoon, like from an outsider's point of view, I've never lived there or whatever, but like I could tell you more rappers from Saskatoon than Regina, for instance. You know, like I feel like of the places in Saskatchewan, Saskatoon is where the hip hop scene is, right? Like I don't know, Skizza and Factor Chandelier and shit have come out of Saskatoon over the years, right? Like there have been a few dudes who kind of have made some noise out of Saskatoon.
Skizza, fucking shout out Skizza, man. He's crazy.
Yeah, I just saw him play.
He played with us.
Yeah, we played in the same show. It was my first time meeting him. He actually mentioned you too.
Oh, dope. Yeah, we got work coming out soon. I got a couple tracks that Skizza got me to jump on for some like Sons of Boom Bap projects or whatever. So, yeah.
Before we go, can I ask you one question?
Yeah, of course, man.
I've been saying your name a certain way, and Donny's been saying it another. And I gotta ask you, I've been saying Doobyis because I put my little spice on things. I'm like my father. I fuck names up all the time.
No, people always want to say Doobyis. It's Doobyis. So like Doobyis is a real word. I just spell it silly, you know. So yeah, I just made it a weed reference when I was fucking 15 and spray painted it on a wall and, you know, caught a little juvie charge over it or whatever, and so that was the name from then on. Like now it is what it is, and I'm the old dude with a silly name. But you know, at the same time, it's like super Googleable, right? Like I get it on every platform, just like no questions asked. I don't need to put a string of numbers after it and shit. So yeah, I figured just run with it. But yeah, man, it's dubious, but you know, a lot of people just say Doobs or whatever too. So yeah.
And could I give like it's been an honor, like it literally, like to host a podcast and to like ask so many questions and to tap in with local scenes. Like I really do appreciate you having my brother here, like, and really giving him that time to speak.
I appreciate hearing him, man. And honestly, like it's been a lot of love. I just talking to different artists, like everybody's on the same fucking wavelength, right? Like there's so many artists across the country who I just feel gifted to be able to talk to. You two guys included, man. Like, you know, I really do appreciate your guys' music. I put in a lot of work doing this fucking After the Smoke is Clear thing, and like it's right next to impossible to get anybody to listen to the fucking thing, but I do it, and so like it's up there. It's a weekly history of like who dropped music in the Canadian hip hop scene, and I looked around and was like, nobody's doing this, and they fucking should be. There's so much talent out there that like, because dude, when I used to live up in Edmonton, I knew, you know, 30 dope MCs in Edmonton, and I would just think to myself like, why did none of the DJs on this scene like put together a mixtape with all these different dope MCs or whatever? Like, how come that's not fucking happening? And so now, 15 years after thinking that to myself, I was just like, yo, fuck it. I got time. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for all of fucking Canada, and I'm going to do it every week for 5 years and see what happens. And like, so far what happened? Nothing. But like, I've got to virtually shake hands with a bunch of different artists, right? And now, like, if I go out to Saskatoon, fucking Big Tone says I can crash at his place, and if I go to Calgary, K-Riz says I can crash there, and like, it's building just a network of artists who fuck with it, and who appreciate that there is a platform doing it, because we mentioned earlier, there's no more much music to turn on and just watch music videos anymore, right? But like, there should be a podcast talking to everybody. So, I appreciate you guys coming on doing it. Without artists to talk to, there's no fucking podcast. I like talking hip hop, but I can't just sit here and talk to myself about it. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys spending the time to do it, really. And it's completely
Sorry about
mutual.
last time. I couldn't make last time. There's just a lot that came up. Yeah.
Sorry, what'd you say, Donny? I missed that.
Sorry, I couldn't make it at the last one. Yeah.
No, dude, I get it. Life comes up. Even today, like, K.Stone's here because Alchemy had to back out. I get it. Shit comes up. I'm not offering people money to do these things, so it's just like, come through and I'll promote. I'll fucking try to get your guys' names and faces into as many fucking ears as I can or whatever. But even that, like, it's not that many, right? Like, I'm not out here paying for ads, so it's just, it is what it is. But I get it that like artists have to back burner art sometimes when there are other fires to be put out, or when other shit comes up, when life gets real. So yeah, that I get it. I appreciate it. I've done it myself to different people, had to flake out on fucking commitments that I've made or whatever. Everybody does, man. Like, yeah. In this music thing, it's tough to be consistent. That's the toughest part, I think, of the whole music grind is the consistency to it. But yeah, I appreciate your guys' time. I guess you gave shout outs to people already. I already asked people to give some shout outs from their local scene. Donny definitely did. K.Stone, you named some people from Saskatoon already. How about, is there anything that we should plug, like, coming up that people should watch out for? Shows, tours, new drops, whatever?
I'm going to be playing at Whoop Up Days this year at the Blackfoot Confederacy stage.
Dope.
It's going to be a Siren City with Alchemy the Linguist set. Going to be an hour set.
Hey, dope. Yes.
Yeah, that was a really big opportunity for us this year. I'm excited for that. Beautiful and the Wicked this summer. That's an album that's going to be dropping. I'm dropping another album with Alchemy the Linguist. Just catch me around town.
Yes. Any plans for more showcases coming up? Do you guys have one of those?
We're going to be going into our third season this year. We're going to be doing it a little bit differently. We're going to like have more space between each show this time, just to like put more heart into each one. Yeah.
Nice. Right on. How about you, K.Stone? What should people look out for?
The Beautiful and Wicked. The rollout is literally beginning like in the coming days, and that album, like, we're just gonna take it to the next level. We're gonna push it.
Yeah, our online presence is gonna be really big for the next 2 months.
Yeah, so we're
nice.
gonna
once it gets started, we already have it all planned out.
Just that project that was like a whole winter of just grinding the fuck out. And
are you gonna touch down to jump up and do some performing at the Whoop Up performance there? Yeah,
we're gonna be doing a 20-minute set of Beautiful and Wicked
for sure.
Yeah,
nice
song.
Nice. I might actually have to go to Whoop Up Days this year then. Check that out. Yeah, make sure you let me know which night that's happening or whatever, man.
Second.
Yeah, follow Siren City. Follow Siren City.
Siren City. That's our label. Just watch out for. Watch out for.
We forgot to plug ourselves, bro.
No, we got.
That's the last question I'm going to ask you guys: is where are you most active on social media, and what's the ats?
I'm on Instagram. Donny _Sage.
Don't add me on Facebook.
__. Yeah. More active on Instagram. Yeah.
Right on. And Siren City, you got a IG account for it too?
Siren City Entertainment. SirenCity.ent.
Nice. Okay. I'll definitely hit follow on that. Thanks, guys. It's been fun talking to you and getting to chop it up a little bit here. We'll end this thing, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your time out in Toronto.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Peace, guys. All right, folks. That was the final interview. I was doing 2 a week all through June. I had a good time talking to Donny and K.Stone there. Definitely check out their work if you're unfamiliar. It's dope. You know, proud to say that there is dope hip hop coming out of Lethbridge, and Donny is definitely one of those guys who I would point to, you know, on that list of the music coming out of Lethbridge that people should check out. I'm gonna take a month off after this. I won't be doing interviews typically. Well, so far this year in 2024, I've done 30 interviews. It's, I think, been every week since the new year, and before that, I think I did December and November too. So it's been 8 months or so worth of fucking weekly interviews, and I'm gonna go find a beach someplace to relax on, or a hammock to swing in, or something along those lines, and cool out. But I'm still gonna be doing After the Smoke is Clear mixes every week. Just before this interview, I sent music over to Dice. He was gonna do 2 for this week, so we might drop those 2, one for Monday, one for Thursday this week. I don't know, maybe we'll just do 1 a week and take a week off or something. But one way or the other, After the Smoke is Clear is going to keep coming out through July, and Flying Formation should be back in probably late August, I think. I might take a month and a half off here for summer and then get back to it. But definitely going to be keeping music coming every week on ATSIC. It's an hour worth of independent hip-hop from coast to coast. Mixcloud.com/Doobyis is where you can find that, and that's also where you can find the audio only format of these Flying Formation interviews. There's a huge long playlist over on YouTube for Flying Formation. Do me a favor, just, you know, click play on that playlist and let it run muted in another tab. I mean, you know, watch the interviews if you got time and are dedicated and want to watch those interviews. But if you just want to do me a favor, it helps you know, boost it up the algorithm, and it helps me build up like hours of watched time or whatever stat YouTube keeps track of to keep us all from monetizing. And you know, if that hits a certain level, then I get to monetize on YouTube, which like we were talking about earlier, is kind of the dream, being able to turn the hobby into a job. But until that day comes, I will be here just chipping away at the old block week after week, putting out Flying Formation, putting out After the Smoke is Clear, and I appreciate people coming by. If all you can remember is my name, Doobyis.com is the hub for everything that I do. Doobyis.